pounder from Mexico. He's undefeated. He had a great win over Arthur Abraham. So if that fight could happen, that would be a very interesting fight on both sides. So I think that might be the most likely at this time. But you know, look, Gennady has his hands full with Kell Brook. It's my job to look forward and try to make these fights. But I know Gennady 100% is going to be focused on September 10th with Kell Brook, and so is Abel. Then the WBA looks like they'll order. Danny Jacobs is fighting Sergio Mora September 9th, which is one day before. So that mandatory is due. So it looks like they'll order Danny Jacobs to fight Gennady. So we'll see how that goes. But Gennady's never, you know, I want to emphasize, he's never shied away from a mandatory challenge. If he's ordered, he's so focused on having the titles and keeping them. Unlike a lot of fighters who tried to get out of their mandatory obligations, he was a mandatory for Felix Sturm for 2 years. And Sturm kept getting exceptions not to fight Gennady. So that would be a great fight. Him and Daniel Jacobs in New York would be a tremendous fight. So they're focused on September 10th. I'm always looking forward to see what else is down the road. Eddie, you know, with the success now, maybe Eubanks will come back in the picture. It looks like the pay-per-view in the UK will do very well as well. De Gale is out there. That might happen. You never know. When Carl Froch, he's working for Sky. When he stands next to Gennady and sees that he's about, you know, 4 inches taller than Gennady, maybe he'll decide to come out of retirement. You never know what will happen. But at least now it looks like with Gennady consistently selling out arenas worldwide, and with his HBO ratings consistently towards the top of the ratings, it looks like the doors are opening now for the bigger fights that he's wanted the whole time.
Next question. Go ahead, Ron.
Gennady, you're familiar with Kell's style of fighting, and you've seen him fight before. What are your thoughts about any challenges that you might face in his style of fighting? He's a pretty tough fighter at that weight that he's normally fighting at. So give us your thoughts about Kell Brook and the way he fights.
Yeah, you're right. Just I saw a fight with Champoda. He's very good fight. It's a very good fight. And Kell, he's a very good fighter. I think first of all, like boxing IQ. Boxing IQ a little bit different. I like more drama show. I don't know. He's ready for 160, you know, for middleweight division, because I want drama show. I want beat like up and down. I don't know. Maybe he's ready. Okay, this is a difficult fight for us. He's not ready. I think it's a short fight. No, just wait, just debut. And boxing, I feel like he's very good boxer. I like more drama.
What do you think really motivated him to take the challenge to fight you?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yes, more motivated. Yeah, just I don't know. Right now, just I respect him. More respect him because he's ready to fight. He's ready to fight. I know so many good boxers. More name, so many great names. Like, we have a good deal with everybody. There's nobody ready now. He's ready. Maybe you told me.
Mohammed, I can give you some insight, you know, from what I understood from Eddie Hearn, is that Kell Brook wants to challenge himself. You know, when so many people are turning down Gennady, and when he was having his own challenges, getting the big fight at welterweight, he wants to show that he's also belongs at the top of the sport of boxing. Look, if he can beat Gennady Golovkin, the most feared middleweight in the world, I mean, that would elevate Kell Brook's career to the top of the sport of boxing. So in one night, everything that Gennady's worked for, all the belts he's trying to accumulate, and then if Kell Brook can win that fight, he's at the top of the sport of boxing. So that's his motivation, is that when he couldn't, he was frustrated as well, just like we were frustrated. You know, when you were asking, when Abel was asked about what was he surprised, I think we were all frustrated when we were going down the list of middleweights, and we couldn't close a deal. And then Kell Brook pretty much stepped up and saved the day. And it's been a huge response in England and also internationally. This will be one of the, anticipate one of the most talked about international boxing events of the year.
Next question. Go ahead.
Hi, gentlemen. Abel, you've prepped Gennady for fights across the Atlantic before in Monaco. How is your schedule going to be similar or different now going to England? When are you going to travel and what are your plans in general?
It's going to be a little different. When we're going to Monte Carlo, we left on either Sunday night or Monday morning. This time Tom wanted us to leave a little earlier to have a little more time to be in London and to do some interviews and stuff like that. So we're leaving on Saturday afternoon. I believe at 1 o'clock or something like that. And we'll be there until, obviously, until Sunday. Or he will be a little bit longer, but Sunday is the next weekend.
So a week prior.
Yeah.
Gennady, is that a good, comfortable time for you to go?
Yeah, for me it's easy. Just for me, it's very close place, like 6 and 6. It's my way.
Anytime, any place, huh?
Like a different gym, like that.
Next question. Abraham?
Abel, what were the words, one word that came to your mind when you hear Canelo won't fight
That
Golovkin?
would not fight.
Yeah. What was the first word that came to your mind?
Actually, it was 3 words. I told you, Tom. I told you, Tom. I've been saying this. He's not going to fight us. He's not going to fight us, and I hope that I'm wrong, but I don't see him fighting in 2017 either. And it's up to you guys. They've been forcing him and have been talking to him consistently. There was a fight in Rosarito, I think, this weekend when Margarito fought one of Canelo's brothers. And there's a video on YouTube where some fan is heckling him, asking him about Golovkin. I hope that keeps happening because if he hadn't said nothing, I would have given him a pass. And you guys probably would have given him a pass. But all the smack that he talked, he's got to back that up. Or he's not Mexican.
Question to Tom. Do you think that there could have been a big apprehension from Golden Boy to allow him to fight and lose, and then he won't have no marquee fighters? Do you think that could have played into the decision to hold off from fighting this guy?
You know, it's hard to say, Mohammed. You know, that's really a question for Golden Boy and Canelo. We obviously have a very good relationship with Golden Boy. We did the co-promotion together when David Lemieux fought Gennady and sold out Madison Square Garden. I think, honestly, there's apprehension on a lot of people's minds, not just Canelo, to get in the ring. And look, if you move down to 154, you know, what can you do? It's even though it was mandated to fight, you can't force people to get in the ring. So I have had discussions with Oscar and with Eric Gomez, and I truly believe, Abel might not believe it, but I'd like to believe that the fight will happen next year and most likely in September of 2017. That's what they'd like to shoot for, and you know, it's the biggest fight in the sport of boxing, so if you can make it, great. If not, Gennady's just going to keep moving on, keep fighting the best guys that'll get in the ring with him, and you see where his career has come over the last 4 years since his HBO debut, September of 2012, and now he's one of the most talked about, you know, highest ticket selling, highest TV rated fighters, sponsorships, you know, his Jordan brand. It really, the sponsors he has from Kazakhstan, Bijan on Rodeo Drive is a sponsor, so it's he's doing very unusual things that you don't see many boxers do just because of his character outside the ring and his style inside the ring. It just makes him a fan favorite and also makes him a favorite for TV companies, for the fans, and for sponsors.
Go ahead, Michael.
Hey guys, this is a question for the whole team. Good to see you guys. Thanks for having me. I just wanted you to talk about the reaction to how you've been received over in the UK. Because I think when this fight was first announced, everybody thought it was going to be a very pro-Brook crowd at the O2 Arena, but I write for Boxing Monthly, a British magazine, and for a lot of people have been telling me there's a big Triple G contingent over there already, and it might be a pro Triple G house come September 10th. So how have you been received with it?
I can, maybe I'll start on that, is Gennady went to a soccer game at West Ham. That was actually the first time he's ever been to the UK. It actually surprised me. With as many amateur fights as he's had, he's never actually fought or been to the UK. And we've had so many requests for him to come over and make an appearance or to fight a UK fighter that he's really a fan favorite in England. And when he was there at the soccer game, you know, people were, I wouldn't say chasing him, but they were definitely following him everywhere to try to get his autograph. We had to go to different hotels because they thought we were staying in one hotel, so they would like stand there and then we would like drive around to a different hotel. I mean, it's just been, you gotta appreciate the passion for the UK fans and the reception that we all received in the UK was it was very warm. The fans are excited to see him live. What I can say, Michael, is that look, Gennady's from Kazakhstan. He lived in Germany a number of years when he fought in Germany. Then he made his American debut and his HBO debut in New York. What really kind of hit home for me, that his style transcends any demographic, any nationality. It just hits home to the boxing fans, is when he fought Marco Antonio Rubio at the StubHub Center. He broke all the attendance records of all the great fighters that have ever fought at StubHub Center. We had to add bleachers, we had to add standing room only seats. And it was definitely a large Hispanic crowd, and you saw the Mexican fans chanting for Gennady. I mean, that not against, but in support of Gennady, when you had Rubio, who was very well known in Mexico. So that kind of showed me he transcends, you know, any country that we'll go to where he's become a fan favorite. So I wouldn't be surprised, as you say, that if it's not a pro Gennady crowd, at least it would be about 50-50 with Brook. But look, Brook is very popular in the UK. He has a lot of respect from the UK fans, what he's accomplished. You know, he's not afraid to fight anywhere either. He came over here, he fought at the StubHub Center when he beat Sean Porter, so he's not afraid to travel. So I think it's just a great matchup. I can let Abel also talk about the reception in the UK.
I've been there probably 4 or 5 times for fights, and every time they've been very receptive of a good fight. Given Gennady's personality outside the ring and his personality inside the ring, I compare the English fans to the Latin fans, to the Mexican fans. They're very fanatical. They're very demanding of their heroes, they're demanding of their boxers. And once there's a great fight, they're going to cheer for the guy that's doing what they want to see. I'm sure at the beginning it'll be pro Brook, but I think once the fight starts and once they see Gennady do what he does best in the ring, I think it'll be just a thank you in the type of reception and the type of adulation that they're going to give Gennady, because he's the kind of fighter that they wish, just like the Mexicans, that they wish we had that were Mexican. He's a Kazakh, but I think, like Tom said, he transcends those barriers, and his style of fighting is something that I think all fight fans want to see.
Next question, please. Go ahead.
No, we're getting ready to do I don't know if you guys are familiar with that DNA test that you spit into that little cup and they send it off and they come back and they give you.
My family did that,
They did
yeah.
that? Okay.
It's always interesting.
We're gonna be doing it for him, and he thinks he's half Mexican.
Go ahead, Jeandra. Right over here.
I have 2 questions. Abel, I wanted to ask you first, going back to Kell Brook's weight, being that he's so much bigger than Gennady, what is your impression of that as a trainer? Does that tell you that he's a little lazier? We hear that term, big welterweight, big whatever weight, thrown around a lot. Does that say to you as a trainer, he's a little lazy in the off season and that's why he's so heavy? Because it must take a lot to get down to 147 every time he fights. Or is that telling you he really feels he has to pack on a ton of muscle to fight against Gennady in September?
No, that tells me that there's 4 organizations with 17 weight divisions. There's 68 world champions that are current. That means there's 68 geniuses out there, coaches who think their way is the only way. The Ingles have a historic gym. The old man is a sage, just considered there like Emmanuel was here. So I think that they're thinking that that's the way to do it. And if he wins, who's to challenge him? You know, if he loses, well, he was just too small, I would say. But that is just their thinking of how this needs to get done. I have my own way, and like I said, there's 68 guys that think their way is the only way. So there's a lot of thought to that. There's a lot of thought that they're putting into it, and I'm sure that that wasn't by surprise. I'm sure that they were checking his weight, and he's right at 76. If he was 72 or 71, it'd be a different story. But at 76, that means that they were planning that.
And then for Gennady, what's something that you think Kell Brook does well?
Yeah, he's champion, and I don't know. For me, just interest. Not doesn't matter division 160, he went down. He's 176. It's not problem. For me, very interest. Kell Brook, and it's me. You know, just who is Kell Brook, who I am, like that. You know, who is true champion. Well, it's not interest for me. Not interest like 154, like 170, 180. Like, I know Kell Brook, I know just that's it.
Francisco, go ahead, please.
With all your goal has been to unite all the world titles, which is respectful, but you've had fighters like Canelo and BJ who they talk more than what you want to bring to the table to sign the contracts. Does that frustrate you? Does that does that bring humor to you? How do you respond, or how do you react to the fighters that talk more after a fight gets made, like with Kell Brook?
It's not a lot.
Just making that.
Frustrate you, humor you?
I don't feel no.
He respects the fighters most that sign the contract.
Yeah, we know
That's an
this,
easy
yeah.
way to answer.
I want boxing. I love boxing. I understand. Not Kell Brook. Who? This is serious. It's very hard for us. Who next? I won't fight. Okay. Just maybe one fight per year. It's not serious. Just okay. I go into 168. With who? Start. I go into 154 because I'm not big. Okay. With who? Too much business. I love sport. Too much business. Too much.
Next, go ahead. Go ahead, Kelly.
Just in terms of with how difficult it's been to get fights into this Kell Brook, is that one of the things that factored into it being London? Or is it was there any question, or how did that come to pass?
Well, when we had the lengthy negotiation with Eddie Hearn for the Eubank fight, he had reserved the O2 Arena, he had the date on Sky Box Office, we had the date with HBO, so everything was in place. We could have come back over here, we had the HBO date, Gennady could have fought back here in the States on September 10th, but my goal always, which Gennady and Abel and Oleg and Max Herman, his managers, also agree with, is his priority is to fight here in the States, but we wanted to keep an international presence for him. He fought in Monte Carlo, it was always well documented. He fought there 3 times. He's a fan favorite of Prince Albert, and when he walks through the streets of Monte Carlo, so that's a little bit unusual thing also to see. But this fit in well. He fought in April, sold out the Forum, and so when the opportunity came up to fight in the UK, at first it was Billy Joe Saunders because the priority was to unify the titles. Billy Joe informed Frank Warren he would rather fight in the UK than fight over here in the States, and that's what, okay, we'll go over there and try to unify all the titles. That didn't go very far, as I mentioned, and that's when Eddie Hearn got involved with the Eubank negotiations, and that's really how it came about for England specifically, but it also plays into the international presence that we always want to keep for Gennady.
If I can add one thing to that. For Gennady, Terrence Crawford and some other fighters, they brought big fights to their hometowns. Do you see, is that a goal of yours to bring a fight, a major fight to Kazakhstan?
Yeah. Maybe I don't want to bring big shows Kazakhstan because next year for Kazakhstan like export styles.